Very, very exciting stuff, I have to say. So I do very much agree with you on that. That Elysium definitely stands a high chance to make some good progress here. But again, I think Ariandel is going to take this. But I could 100% be wrong. Elysium has some serious experience in these competitive DBD matches. And that being said, we are loading in to our first match with Zeno on the Nurse. Already finding a chase onto Le Magic's Dwight here, who is taking the Nurse to Shaq here, but not going to opt to continue that chase there. I wouldn't want to chase at Shaq either, so I completely don't blame Zeno here. He's going to go and find another chase here to hopefully catch and get a quick down onto Hardwell here, who just did a nice 360 and turned back at the last moment, which was pretty nice, and avoided that hit there. So that was quite nice. This pallet already comes down, forcing the Nurse, by the way, to break a pallet. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, we immediately see Zeno moving over towards this top side of the map because of his 4-gen and almost a 5-gen, I would say. We do not want to be going down in that top side area, so very, very well played by Hardwell there to avoid that down. Of course, we had first chase onto La Magic, but Zeno was not interested in going to that bot side, so we can already see the Nurse set shaping up the start. We have this gen being worked on here. We also had that top mid gen working, so it looks like they want to get the sort of middle of the map cleared of gens, and it seems like that's how they want to shape the objectives to be completed. But we haven't seen an injury yet on the board. Ariandel very well coordinated in avoiding a Zeno Nurse, and like I said, this is completely strategic. Like they want to die in the right spots. When they have those gens being worked on in the middle of the map, it's going to be really important for them to manage their spacing properly so that they're not going to be risking any hooks in that sort of area, because when you have a Nurse who has a hook on the gens where she's in blink range, it's really where things start to get dicey. But yeah, we see some scratch spots coming over here. It's going to be iPick in the corner. You can see playing the C-Wall, just pulling Zeno to the edge of the map. And of course, one of the main balancing changes we've seen for Nurse is the Band of Agitation, which is one of those really powerhouse perks for her because of how slow she is. That's going to be iPick going down. First gen traded for that. And looks like a very deliberate spot.
That first down, Zach, didn't come in until 2 minutes and 26 seconds. The survivors outlasted Corrupt Intervention against the Nurse, Zach. That is insane. Yes, the very first down comes onto iPick. A generator's already done, and we see Swatter working on another one off in the distance. So generator progress is definitely not being neglected here, which is really nice to see if you're Team Ariandel. Now, we did see a survivor over here rotating in for the save, and I think that Zeno, gonna get the tag on a Swatter. He's gonna get the trade though, so that's gonna be Deliverance up if iPick can manage to stay alive for a little bit longer. He's got Dead Hard just in case, so I'd say that this is a great use of perks here. But he expected the Dead Hard out. He waited it out, and that was the down. That's gonna be a second hook stage onto iPick, unless something were to happen. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, though. So that's the second stage onto iPick. Zeno is possibly going to make a comeback here. Finding Swatter. He is the Deliverance survivor, so things aren't too bad for Ariandel right now. But slug pressure is still going to pose a bit of a threat to Team Ariandel here. And finding another injury. Wow. The DBD gods here were holding all the pressure from Zeno.
This is an absolute disaster for Ariandel. They have a hook in the mid-map. Someone slugged at main building, and Zeno is chilling right now. He can force any form of trade that he wants, and he's able to just chase down the tunnel out target just pretty much immediately. The tempo of the game is just completely in Zeno's control right now. He has 3 injured. Nice. Dead Hard, was that? Or was that? Oh, I can't remember. Absolutely insane state of the game. They're able to get away, make some sort of distance to the bot side of the map. But yeah, that's going to be iPick going down. We have a reset coming through onto Swatter, so they're actually getting back onto their feet a little bit. Actually, really nice Dead Hard from iPick there to buy them time. And actually, they've got back into their feet, but that's a survivor dead. 4 gens remaining. The fact that they're able to get the reset off is massive. But Zeno getting some absolute momentum here at the start of the game. That first down, going into the tunnel out, basically, well, very, very fast. And then now Swatter makes it to safety, but very, very scary looking moment there. We're now at the top of the main building. Zeno taking control of this side of the map again. Like I mentioned before, it looks like he's something that he wants to focus on. And he's holding Blink here. Breaks that breakable wall, so he has good vision on the gens. And holding Blink now, trying to find someone who might be nearby, just trying to gather information. We still have Hardwell injured. That's a second gen going to be popped. And we are searching for someone in this top side. Going to apply Eruption to that one. Looks like Hardwell is self-resetting, so some self-sufficiency there. And this is where the game starts to slow down. You're in the 3v1. You don't have many gens completed. And
yeah, we're still at 3 gens left right now, so that's a bit of an issue for Team Ariandel. But like you said, their self-sufficiency is definitely going to help them out quite a bit here with Hardwell, you know, healing himself off in the distance. But again, it's the 3v1 against Nurse, so not going to be the best thing to deal with at the moment. But let's be honest, the game did start out a bit slow for Zeno. An injury didn't come in for a while, and the first down didn't come in until after corrupted intervention had already expired, and almost even a further 25% of the corrupt intervention timer had expired past that. 2 minutes and 26 seconds is a long time on a Nurse set, Zach. So I think the survivors of Ariandel were able to kind of, you know, recover a bit just thanks to that introduction to the game. So, and we see LeMagic off in the distance working a generator at about 75% progress almost. So things aren't looking too terrible for them right now.
Yeah, Hardwell took a second to complete his reset, which is actually something I want to point out because that's, from Zeno's perspective, he sees someone injured for a long time. And what that communicates to him is that potentially they're not resetting, they're doing a gen. So holding on to that actually really kind of influences his decision-making a little bit. So nice, smart play there from Hardwell. And we're now at 3 gens completed, 2 gens remaining. And yeah, the game seems to slow down. He does find LeMagic here at Shack. So we have found our first chase for the first time in a while. And I want to say, we did have quite a late first down, but it was not long after that we actually saw the first kill. And that's a nice little use of edge map there to dodge out on Zeno's blink. And he's going to make so much distance here. Needs to dodge another set of blinks. And this is at the very bottom of the map. This is away from that 4 gen. This is a really, really important chase for LeMagic. Does eventually go down, but it's going to take so long to get back into that area. I do wonder how far in that gen they are. It looks like they're actually taking a moment to stealth, knowing that the Nurse is on the way over there. You know, going to be looking for those survivors on those gens, and Hardwell now rotating for the pickup. Now this is going to be a routine that we'll see in the 3v1. We'll see the survivors leaving the gens early, not giving up any pressure to Zeno, because dying in this top side is going to be really bad for them, especially in the 3v1. So they need to be really careful and manage their positions effectively. It looks like that's what they're doing. It's something that we expected from this top tier teams, which we called out at the start. But we are reapplying eruptions to these gens now, and yeah, we're back to square one, basically.
Back to square one for sure, because we have all the survivors reset, all healthy. And currently, Zeno doesn't know where any survivors are at the moment, but he's definitely looking around and trying to find somebody. And, well, I stand corrected, because there's Swatter running away from Zeno's Nurse. So, definitely going to be playing a lot on the edge map here, just to buy more time. Oh, very nice! That was good! That was so good! Swatter, wow, what an insane juke coming in from Swatter. Getting stuck on the hook, though, for a second there. It's, yeah, and there comes the injure onto Swatter. He's going to be running edge map. The Nurse with the undetectable add-on definitely going to be helping out just a little bit, but with good communication.
This is really good because he's forcing the pick with plot twist. This is really, really good. Used overcome, got himself into the bot side position, and now Zeno's forced to pick.
That's right.
Of
It's
course, we did see this week during Scrum Nights, Plot Twist actually triggered Eruption. It doesn't look like it did this time, but it was another funny interaction with that. But I was talking to V1 on Thursday about how I love Plot Twist because it really does force decision making for my killer player. He has to pick, otherwise Swatter's going to be fully reset, right? So he's going to lose pressure if he doesn't pick there. But as you can see, Swatter is now hooked on that mid-map hook. And Cena going to be looking through that window to see if there's anyone around. We do have La Magic in the corner on that gen. Hardwell playing for the unhook here. And will he get this for free?
Yeah,
like
nice free unhook coming in. Yeah, Zeno not really there to contest it at all. That almost didn't hit anybody. That would have been insane. But yes, Zeno's going to continue the tunnel out onto Swatter here. And the plot twist comes in again. Like Zach said, it is actually a very useful perk, but man, it never stops being hilarious. I will always laugh at plot twist being used right in the killer's face. Because yes, if the survivor is left to be slugged on the ground after using plot twist, he can pick himself back up, full health, and get a sprint burst essentially right after with no exhaustion, which is quite a good effect if you're not able to be found. But if you're in a situation where the nurse is trying to put pressure on the map, leaving the survivors slugged when they're using plot twist is not a great idea, because then you can just essentially pick yourself up and you're good to go. So you're forced to pick this slug up, because then you face a free, easy reset. So Zeno not opting to chase at Shaq, completely understandable. Going to continue and stay over here by Swatter's hook and camp him out. There's one generator left, so it's looking pretty good for Team Ariandel if they do say so themselves. We didn't hear that. I'm just making that up as we go. So Zeno's going to want to camp out Swatter here. He's got a generator with eruption on it and ready to go. And Zach, I don't think we ever talked. Oh, wow, okay. Going to take the M1 and then the trade. Not too bad, but
yeah, he opts to pick up Hardwell there because he knows where Swatter's going, and sees this gen over here. Might opt to use pop, but no, actually goes for the person on it. It's gonna be La Magic being chased down. Not letting Swatter die there was really important for Ariandel because they're not going to be able to get the last gen done if they have 2 survivors left. It's very, very difficult, especially for against a killer player like Zeno, but just in general. Nurse sets. He's got this 3 gen here. It's just impossible with 2 players, but with 3 they have a fighting chance. Swatter now plot twisting off in the distance, and this is, I would say, a bit more of a dangerous hook because it is directly in between all of these gens, and they're having to put themselves out of position in order to save Swatter there. So the game right now is completely in Zeno's control. He has eruption applied on that gen in the corner, and he has sight of all of these. Look at these 2 gens. The one in main building and the one to the left of it is so close together. So this is going to be, I mean, it's going to have to be a forced trade. Swatter will eventually pick himself up. There it is. He is healthy. But,
finally, Swatter getting plot twist value. It was necessary this match.
But I appreciate the decision not to chase Swatter there, because you're going to have to pull yourself away from that corner, and we already saw how much progress was on that gen. So good decision making by Zeno, and nice. Swatter's been found, but this gives La Magic the opportunity to chase, and really nice blink from Zeno. He's gonna get Swatter down, and this is gonna be Swatter dead. That gen that they're working on has regressed so far, and they have now no progress on the map, and they're gonna be left in a 2v1 situation. So I'm honestly thinking this is the 4K1 secured, Rob.
I think it's looking pretty likely to be a 4K1 for sure, but you never know because things do happen. They do get a bit crazy, so we'll have to see what's going to happen here pretty soon. Even though a 2v1 against Nurse is looking very, very abysmal, you have to give credit to these survivors still, Zach.
Oh, no.
Because,
oh, no.
Yeah, no, okay, maybe it's 4K1 secured.
With Hardwell injured there, La Magic just was not, like, you just cannot get found there. But yeah, even so, Yeah,
There
that's
it
going to be
is.
the game secured. So 4K one secure for Zeno. And you know what? I think that's a very impressive result for Ariandel on the survivor side because of how early we saw iPick die. We had that chase on the bot side, very deep bot side. It gave them a chance to do a lot of gens. So getting to one gen remaining, I think, in the situation is pretty impressive. And it's making the best of a bad situation, right? We have nurse sets can be very intense, especially when you're out of position and you give the nurse that sort of control of the map. But yeah, I want to say that they brought it back really effectively, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with iPick being out of the match so soon, you know, getting 4 generators done against a nurse who's playing this well is, you know, it's very unlikely. And they did a fantastic job coming back from that, you know, because the down didn't come in very quickly, but there was a short period of time after that where Zeno was just going full chaos mode, and he was just getting downs left and right. People were getting injured. He was spreading injuries full across the board.
Slowing down the game in a 3v1 because when you have the reset come through, of course, that 10% slowdown comes into effect, 10 or 20%. It is a bit situational, but I think it's, you know, it's a very easy perk to get value from. And of course, if you don't choose to reset, it is a nurse who can just be on you within like half a second. She blinks on top of you. But yeah, here we are, falling out now on the nurse, and we're looking. We already see some scratch marks. So this is a very, very early find onto a survivor, and we can hear them. It's going to be Still Hay taking a very early injury. Undetectable add-on also in play, same as last time. It's a very, very popular one for nurse. Of course, we have the chase going into the corrupt area of the zone, but running deep into that corner there, Still Hay very well positioned to pull the nurse away from this mid-map area. Looks like potentially something was being planned there. This gen has been worked on, and it looks like it's Pedro Hurt taking a second injury being found on that gen. Very good game sense from Fallen Art to know that something is afoot there. Firecracker not going to land, and that's going to be a very early down, like I was talking about, Rob.
Yeah, that was quite the early down indeed. Coming in at 1 minute and 12 seconds, actually, Zach, that's insane. Also, Zach, I got to point something out to the viewers watching at home or work or wherever they may be. We have a new survivor in Season 10, that being Aurela Rose, who is now introduced into Season 10 of DBDLeague. It's always incredible to see a new survivor being played. Wonderful thing to see. That being said, we are getting a Pop Goes the Weasel onto the gen over here in mid-map, and Fallen Art opting to head right back to the hook before the people comes in. Quite a necessary decision to make right there, because tunnel outs can happen rather quick. I mean, we just saw in the last set, the tunnel out started and ended rather quickly, Zach. So quite a necessary measure to take when you're facing a very skilled nurse like the Fallen Art here. Finding another injury onto Pedro here, and very nice dead hard. That was incredible timing. Wonderful job from Pedro there, and just going right back to the comp corner to get down, which may seem a little bit funny, but it's good to have a down as far away from all of your generators as possible. The very edge of the corner, the comp corner, is quite the necessary thing to do, because you're buying your teammates more time to do generators, to reset, or whatever they need to do to progress the win condition for their team.
Yeah, and well, I guess we're seeing quite a lot of pressure on Pedro here with the second stage, but we are at 3 gens, so I mean, in terms of pacing, these games are pretty neck and neck. Aurora Rose being used is very interesting. I do believe that she is, I think she's relatively quiet, so I was just saying in the background, I think that's maybe influenced towards the pick, because coming into her release, it is something that players picked up on. And I'm not surprised. I'm pretty confident we're going to be seeing her multiple times today. I'll just say that. But Pedro now getting close to elimination, and we still have 2 injuries on the board. So sacrificing time for a reset to get those gens done, definitely a decision that is deliberate. And also coming in for the save, going to take a smack to the face and force a trade. We do know Pedro has dead hard. Fallen Art also knows this though, but if he lands it, it's going to be really good for him. Goes on top of this hill. Nice. He times the clock as he falls down. That's absolutely textbook. That was really well played by Pedro. And now we make it to the bot side of the map, which is really, really well played. And also he's got the self-care botany, which is really interesting because now Fallen Art, well, if he leaves him, he's not going to leave him. But this is now a very, very deep bot side down. Reset going to come through off in the distance, but he made so much distance there with that dead hard and has really allowed his team to come back. Plot twist now in play from Silhay, and the reset's coming through between Zeno and Oscar. So we're going to have 3 survivors reset, and we have 3 gens for them to finish.
Absolutely, and Deliverance has not been used yet, which is also very nice to see if you're Team Elysium, because now you have another perk to bail you out just in case anything goes wrong. And yeah, things are not looking too bad right now. Plot twist is about to finish here. Silhay's gonna be fully healthy. Yeah, that was quite close, but no, it was really well played from Silhay there to use Plot Twist at the edge of the map. It's one of my favorite places to use it, so it definitely works pretty well. That being said, Fallen Art is trying to find his next chase. There are 3 generators remaining, by the way, Zach, and the 3v1 is still... Oh, very nice locker juke from Zeno there. Incredible job. Going to take the chase over to Shaq, where Fallen Art has not wanted to play before, but actually, wait, are we in the corner here? We're in the corner. Wow. Very well played on the Z-wall there. I think it definitely confused Fallen for a second there. Zeno going down a few seconds later, but it's hard to really last too long when you don't have very many resources to work with, and also the nurse is right on your tail. So another hook is about to come in, but if I remember correctly, that's the Deliverance. Yep, that is Deliverance. So this is really not going to do too much for Fallen Art here, except for give him another hook stage. And now he's off and running around. But I imagine Fallen Art wants to pressure the survivors in the map before going after Zeno again. But we'll just have to see how it plays out, Zach.
Yeah, we are very, very close to being at 1 gen at the moment. I noticed that they're very, very far up on those gens. The pop value on that right-hand side gen that Silhay was working on, of course, going to give really good value for Fallen Art. But the deli coming into play on the bot side, Zeno's going to live to see another day, and we do see some scratch marks here. But I have to question the decision to really chase the side. Can you really afford to commit so far down the map? I think Fallen Art realizes he needs a second survivor out, but we don't see any real progress on elimination. Of course, owing that to Deliverance. But the second elimination is really far away, and Elysium, I want to say, are on top of the game right now. Silhay, really nice pathing around the edge map to deny that. Yeah, just dying in as far away as possible is something that we're going to be seeing probably from the survivors. Silhay pathing up towards the bot side, knowing that he was going to get found, and his gen does get finished. And now we're at 1 gen remaining, so tie conditions been met. And to be honest, it's a really sticky situation for Fallen, I have to say. He's going to need some hook pressure in the top side, I feel like, if he wants to get any sort of grasp on the game. So we'll see, but that's Silhay going to be taking first hook of the game. Zeno now starting for the rotation. And Oscar has been found, so this is actually good tempo for Fallen Art. And this is on the top side of the map, like I mentioned. Like, this is where he is ideally going to die, and not actually making it with that extra speed. And yeah, this is okay. This is a bit more ideal, Rob, for Fallen Art right now.
Absolutely, but I'm a little bit confused. I would think that Fallen Art would want to slug here, just to build up more pressure, because Oscar's a fresh hook, and like you said, there's not much progression into the tunnel out here. So I would think that Fallen Art would want to slug here, especially given that the tie condition has already been met. So I would say this is maybe not the best move, but you know, Fallen Art, he seems like the kind of guy to always have a plan up his sleeve. Another injure comes out onto Zeno. Shaq Pallet's gone. For the first time, it's not going down at 5 gens, so that's wonderful to see. And it looks like Zeno is going to be taking a basement hook here. Well, You know what's interesting? Speaking about perks we haven't really mentioned before, Dying Light is making a return on the Nurse. It's not a perk we see super often. It is more common on Nurse sets for sure, but I honestly haven't seen it on Nurse in a little while now. So that's an interesting pick.
Yeah, it's one of those perks that really gives you good value on the slowdown. I mean, look at that gen speed, that repair speed that Oscar had. More pressure on the obsession, of course, can award more stacks, but it's another form of slowdown, I guess, akin to oh, favorable blink actually downstairs. That is a bit awkward.
Ooh.
And actually, oh, he recovers really nicely by blinking from the door side, and that's gonna be Oscar taking a down. And actually, no, this is a bit of momentum. Of course, you know, dying deep into Shack there. We're already at the top side of the map, so sort of really pulling this nurse from Narnia to Timbuktu, both sides of the map. That's we also taking the second stage, and yeah, there's no second elimination yet. So until we have that second elimination, Elysium will always have a fighting chance. But that dying light is going to be costing them so much time right now. So really well mentioned there, Rob. Really well pointed out. We do have
Thank you,
Zeno
Zach. Thank you.
still injured on the death hook, and still has stealthing it. He's the only remaining survivor that's healthy, so we don't want him to be found right now if we want a chance to stay on top of this game. Zeno now rotating behind injured and death hook, very very risky, but looks like Fallen Art is on to Solheir right now, checking lockers. Unhook does come through, and Fallen Art now just checking the generators first before making his way back down. See some scratch marks. So yeah, still he is here. He is just taking him for a loop-de-loop around this water tower, but hasn't been found yet. And I say that he does get found. Overcome going to be used,
as well.
And this is the plot twist as well. So wouldn't be surprised if we run to this corner here and use it by a lot of time.
It's already been used. It's already been used, Zach.
Oh, it has been. Of course, you're right. Really nice use of the edge map there. And we do make it quite far down. And again, this is the routine I was talking about, making it to the bot side as far as we can away from these gens. The dying light eating into the progression time. And it's only a matter of time at this point, I think, for Fallen Art before he gets that second death. But we are slugging because he is afraid of these gens. That was an interesting hit. Oh my goodness. That was very, very... That was very, very interesting on my screen. I'm not sure what you, ladies and gentlemen, saw, but we have Oscar forcing locker grab because he knows he doesn't make any difference. Oh, nice duke out. He is going to go down, and this is the death hook for Oscar. This is going to be that second death that I was talking about, and we have 2 injuries on the board, and this is looking like a tie condition.
Absolutely. I mean, Fallen Art is putting a lot of pressure on the survivors of Elysium right now, so tie condition is looking quite likely. So very well pointed out there. Does find the reset and gets it last second. Wow. Both survivors are injured again. That reset pretty much meant nothing at all because both of them are just injured again immediately after. But they're both still up and moving around. They both split up, which is really good to see. That's some very good survivor team play right there, keeping the nerds from finding them both in chase together. And also, it looks like Zeno was here trying to get the generator progressed even more and potentially find another generator completion. But that's not going to happen. Fallen Art's playing the macro quite well here. And getting down on the edge of the map here. Very well played by Fallen Art. And it was a good attempt from Zeno for sure. But mind you, yeah, Silhay's working another gen, just as I thought. And, you know, Dying Light slowing the survivors down here with every hook onto a non-obsession survivor. Zeno's getting hooked, so no more stacks are going to apply here. Zeno is also dead, so now the stacks are all locked in. But I'm pretty sure the maximum stacks are pretty close by around the corner. Not exactly filled because Silhay is still alive as the last non-obsession survivor. And yep, that's the tie condition being met. No hatch escapes or door escapes are going to count right now because the generators were not all completed. So Silhay's gonna end this with a friendly 1v1, I imagine.
Yeah, I want to say these two games have gone relatively similar in terms of pace, but I honestly think that Fallen Art really owes the success here to Dying Light. It slowed them down so much, and you have to give it to Elysium. Their positions on the map and where they took their chases were really textbook, but that Dying Light combination with the pop, it really just ate into absolutely everything that the survivors were trying to do. So good perk value, and I really do respect the perk choice. So they're going to be taking the Mori now.
Yay,
Nice
Mori.
flipping move. We do like Moris. But yeah, that's going to be first set tied out. And these teams, the two Titans that we expected to be really closely matched, they're really showing the at least in the Nurse set, how evenly matched they are. But yeah, I was really impressed to see.
Very well said, Zach. Yeah, absolutely. Because Bubbo's on Dredge, but Bubbo has definitely performed very well on the Dredge before and on Killers in general, and very interesting to just hop in a locker immediately in the start of the match. He's going to be building up his Nightfall with this. You can see it on the Survivors UI there, that it's building up very, very, very fast. It's already over a quarter of the way, which is insane. And for all of you watching at home who may not know too much about the Dredge, he is a monster once his power comes into the Nightfall, because the entire map gets extremely dark. You can only see what's maybe a couple of feet in front of you, and the Dredge can see all the survivors highlighted in white. So it's definitely a bit of a pickle of a situation, especially because the Dredge is also able to teleport and exit lockers much quicker. So Zach, I wanted to mention the use of Hex Ruin in this match here, with Eruption in the back pocket, Scourge of Pain Resonance, and also Corrupt Intervention to get some pretty good generators throwdown.
Yeah, Ruin's really good. When you have a killer that can spread so much pressure like Dredge, Ruin is really, really valuable, because you're always going to be pushing survivors off their gins. It's always going to be giving you value, but that of course only matters whilst the Hex is still active. So interesting to see if they are going to find that Hex totem soon and relatively quickly. We saw it as on that top side on the top floor, and I don't believe that's one of the hugely consistent totem spawns. So it's not like one of the library totem spawns which spawns in every game. So that is a bit of a silver lining. But yeah, Nightfall and Plane, you can already see he's got one injury on the board. No Sloppy Butcher, though, I want to mention. He's gone for pure generator pressure. No healing slowdown or anything like that, which is one of the perks I was actually expecting to see Sloppy, but maybe opting for Ruin in its place. Only 2 injuries on the board, but yeah, the resets aren't going to be as slow, of course. And that's one of the things I think that can really pay off for the Dredge, so I'll be interesting to see if he gets any form of if he can still keep the pressure on, considering there's no pressure on healing. Pedro now going to be taking chase, and oh, he got confused for a second. Bobo actually could have downed him there, but
Wow.
just gonna live a few seconds longer. But that's our first down at 5 gens, and that survivors are already resetting, so that at least confirms in Bubba's mind that they're maybe not doing as many gens as he might expect.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also a bit surprised we don't have Sloppy Butcher on Dredge. It's a very, very good pick for obvious reasons. When the Dredge injures a survivor, when survivors are still injured throughout time, when survivors are hooked, and whenever the Dredge uses his power charges up into Nightfall. And Sloppy Butcher helps with that, because when survivors stay injured for longer, his power grows over time, obviously. So it's always a fun perk to be used on Dredge, and to not see it here, it's an interesting choice not to use it. But I mean, it's not a necessary perk on Dredge. You can still perform quite well without it, but it just helps. It's a quality of life perk on the Dredge. So
we should point out actually, I've just figured something out. It's actually the add-on that he's using. It's a sloppy add-on. That's why we haven't got the perk. I've figured out. I've put the pieces together, ladies and gentlemen. It is the purple add-on, the Tilling Blade. It applies blindness, hemorrhage, and mangled. after becoming injured during Nightfall, and that's 80 seconds. So, yeah, that explains the perk choice, supplemented with the add-on choice. So he's gonna have a whole lot of slowdown. Of course, that's why
Yes,
he wanted to
absolutely.
build up. Why he wanted to build up Nightfall, of course, to build the injury strain. It. So, starting to see the game plan being executed by Bubbo here. Very well played. We only have one
The
injury
only
on the board. Two stages on Pedro.
Sorry, Zach. The only issue with that specific add-on is it has very specific requirements. That being that it needs to be an injury on a healthy survivor. It cannot be an injured survivor going into the down state. It has to be a healthy survivor getting injured in Nightfall. There are quite a few requirements for it, but it does have very strong effects. So that's one thing I just wanted to mention really quick. It's definitely a good add-on. It just has some very, very unique and specific requirements to use it.
Just have increased charge rate though, so I feel like it's something that he's able to support the add-on with, and yeah, it's one of the, I think it's a perk combination that's relatively commonly used on Dredge, and there are, when Sloppy Butcher at least is used, of course these ones aren't going to really give you much value. So yeah, you can go kind of either way, but playing around Nightfall, of course, one of the smarter decisions to make, given that it is Dredge's power, and that is when he is most strongest. But now we have 4 injuries, and Pedro's going to be going down, already hit second stage, so this is going to be an elimination, Rob, at 3 gens remaining.
Yeah, that's some really good play from Bubbo here. I also liked his hopping into a locker just to kind of farm some Nightfall off the start of the match here. And I think that's why he did that, is because of that specific add-on, Zach. So it was really good of you to point that out. Very, very good eye on that catch right there. Oh, no way! Completely ignored Lamarco here and took the down right onto Oscar. Very good thought process on that. Taking basement, of course. Why would you not in this situation? Ruin is still up. There's no eruption in play, so no generators are being damaged from that. So it's definitely could be worse for the survivors of Elysium here. Going to find Zeno here, who is still rocking the Orwella Rose survivor, which is always nice to see. New survivors being played in DBDLeague. And the save comes in onto Oscar. Nightfall has started again. Oh, taking the endurance hit instead of the waiting it out and getting it down. Marco being found in the basement after the save. Taking the tag onto him. That is going to be that add-on applied now, because we're in Nightfall and Marco was healthy and now is injured. So those were the requirements being met. Now he is hemorrhaged, mangled, and blinded, which is insane that actually got value. But Bubba's playing this very well, getting Nightfall to activate, and also the killer instinct from teleporting to survivors nearby, and finding an injure onto Zeno here. Very well played mind game right there. Taking a teleport just to kind of find survivors while we're still in Nightfall. Nothing found, so we're going to get the pickup onto Marco here. Put him on the hook, and go look around for more survivors.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried for Elysium at the minute, because they have a survivor die so early on, and they have so much pressure on them at the minute. We do hear some form of generator progression, but they've been so busy. Zeno getting found here. Marco's going to get saved, but he gets mind games on the filler pallet, and that's Zeno going to go down. And we still have 3 stacks of pain resonance used, and crucially, Rob, Ruin is still active. They have not cleansed it, and they have the pressure of these injuries, the healing slowdown. They have the Ruin just eating away at the gens, and they have 3 stacks of pain res still to be used. Of course, Bubba opting to slug right now because he wants to keep this pressure on. It would be a waste to let them get the resets and try to go for those hooks. There goes Ruin finally. Of course, cursing that away. Very sorry, Bubba. I did not mean it. But this is Zeno going to be taking a hook stage, and that is crucially first hook stage of the game, and pain resonance being used. So, bit of an answer from Bubbo there. Say, you're going to take my Ruin? Fine, I will blow up one of your gens 20%. But yeah, still injured. Two survivors injured, so actually getting the fast to unhook, but Bubbo reads it really nicely, going back to the hook straight away. And Xeno going to be body blocking with the endurance. Does have the safety of this pallet here, but this is a Dredge, the anti-loop killer, and actually takes the TP, and good patience from Xeno, but he's going to go down in the pallets, and this is going to be a second stage so quickly. When they're going for these unhooks, I mean, this is really good information for Bubbo, right? Because he knows this is surely very little chance that they're going to be able to get that third gen done. I'm really worrying for the survivors of Elysium right now. They're on the back foot right now.
Yeah, that's quite apparent to me too, Zach. But you know, something I wanted to point out is that Scorch with Pain. Whoa, that was a pretty far teleport. But it looks like he knows what he's doing. I'll keep my mouth shut when it comes to that. So we didn't see very many pain resonance stacks being used very early into the match, and I think that's just because Bubbo was just doing such a good job harassing survivors around the map that he didn't hook on pain resonance if it wasn't necessary. Ruin was doing a really good job already into the match, so that was quite nice to see. The teleport mind game coming in there, getting it down onto Oscar again, and here comes in another hook. So Bubbo's playing this very efficiently, Zach. He's playing this really well. And finally, for the first time in quite some time now, a reset comes out onto Marco and Xeno. It's been a little while since the survivors were free enough to make a reset happen, but Bo's already right back on their tails here, Zach. And that's not going to last too long. So 3 generators left on the board still to complete in this trial. Bubbo's going to head right back and prepare for a survivor rotating for the save, which looks like that is exactly what is happening here, but not going to quite make it, so they're going to hang out in this little back section by the exit gate here. Now Bubbo, yeah, there we go. Bubbo's going to set down the remnant and make a teleport happen. It looks like, yeah, he ran straight through his remnant and destroyed it. Very well done from Xeno there. He's, you know, Xeno's played a lot of Dredge. He's played against a lot of Dredge. So seeing these kind of plays coming out from Xeno, you know, it's just another Saturday. So very well done to Xeno. But that being said, the save is likely not going to happen unless someone is able to come in and get through Bubbo, which is not going to be an easy task. And I think that's going to be the death onto Oscar here. Yeah, they're trying to get it, but it doesn't come through. Oscar dies on hook. There's still 3 generators left, Zach. Bubbo's doing an excellent job harassing the survivors around the map. I don't really see another generator popping.
Yeah, this is a disaster for Elysium. Survivor dying so early on, and they already had so much pressure applied to them, so they weren't really able to recover at any point during that. That is now Nightfall going to be applied. We have 2 injuries on the board, and yeah, I mean, if they get that 3rd generator done, that is all they can hope for at this point. Trying to split the map, but this is a Dredge who can TP basically everywhere. So, like you said, I think that it's going to be very unlikely. Just a matter of time, because Xeno is pressuring this chair, and Marco was on another. Xeno being found here. And,
very
nice
well done.
Nice little check spot there. He holds it, but does he have enough distance to make it round? He makes this. He doesn't make this vault, no, and that's going to be the scream off in the distance, eruption being applied, and has the aura reading, unfortunately, so they weren't able to call that in time. And that's going to be a 4K3 on the Dredge. That is insane. I do wonder how that compares to the average result, but that is a really impressive performance by Bubbo.
You know, and this is just one of those examples of the fact that Dredge is no weak killer. He does have a bit of a cripple when it comes to the outdoor maps, because lockers obviously don't spawn everywhere around the map, and some other, you know, even some of the indoor maps, it's not super easy to play Dredge on just because of the locker spawn. But Midwich was definitely the one to pick for the Dredge because the lockers are everywhere, and he seems like he is incredibly strong as a result of that. But, you know, if you've played and scrimmed on Dredge a lot, you know what his strengths are, you know what his weaknesses are, you know when to leave chases, and you know when to stick them. So, very nice result from Bubbo here. It's a very difficult win condition, I would say, to beat. All they have to do is just hop on 3 random generators. They don't have to, play into a 3-gen. They don't have, you know what I mean? Like, they don't have to worry about getting stuck in a 3-gen. They can just hop on 3 generators, pop them, and call it good. But that's also easier said than done, because skin, one of my favorites to use myself. So wonderful to see. That being said, we do have Sloppy Butcher this time, which is an interesting choice. It's a good one if you ask me, and it'll help you maintain your nightfall for, it'll help you get your nightfall up more often. And also, another interesting note is the add-ons. We have the Wax Doll, which extends your nightfall duration by 20 seconds, which is a serious threat. We see Obi maybe pulling out the same stop as last time, but maybe not happening just yet. I think that it was Oh, very nice. Very well done, Obi. That was incredible to see. iPick wasn't falling for it for just a second there, but Obi was like, all right, I'll push you into it. How about that? And he does exactly that. So that was incredible play from Obi. So another thing I want to note too is the use of Corrupt Intervention. Also, nice job, charging your power to make iPick think you're going to take the M1. And there's the down onto iPick. And that was a pretty early down, if you ask me. That was quite quick. That came in at 1 minute and 15 seconds, Zach. Although we do see the survivors are tripling a generator right now, well, actually doubling. But there are 3 generators being worked right now. One's being doubled, and another is off in the distance by LeMagic. All they have to do is pop 3. So this is some pretty good survivor play, if you ask me, Zach.
Yeah, and absolutely. That is the early down that Obi needs to bring it back for Elysium. Try and secure that win condition. And like you said, with the add-ons, the doll and the skull use, of course, when survivors are injured, that's going to increase the rate of nightfall charge. So at the minute, I mean, he's got all of his, the 3 remaining survivors are healthy. He needs to start spreading those. But getting this tunnel out is going to be huge. He needs to get this survivor out of the game as soon as possible. Nice body block, but that's going to be iPick still zoned, and he doesn't make too much distance. It's going to make this vault on the pallet. Obi just canceling out that swing just there. But yeah, this is extremely, extremely dangerous. We'll see if iPick can play this, and the longer he survives here, the better it is for the survivors to get those gens done. They were very close on those 2 gens that we were working on, and that will already be the tie condition secured on the survivor side. And just the patience from iPick not to vault here. Obi needs this down basically right now. He needs it yesterday. The vault finally comes through, but 2 gens have been completed, so there's no hope of winning it. But now Obi needs to make sure that no more gens get done.
That's the tie condition met right there, Zach. They were able to manage that so quickly, but there's probably not too much more generated progression around the map. So this could also end in a tie, and no generators are completed after this. Unfortunately, that's not going to be an M1. Obi's going to get stunned by a pallet. An Eldritch deity getting stunned by a block of wood is never a fun sight to see. But it looks like Obi is going to... Oh, nice use of the remnant there to find out where exactly Squatter might be. Oh, wait!
That's the game
win
lost.
condition. Ariandel takes the set. Wonderful job.
Yeah.
That was great.
Win conditions met now, so it's just about securing the best result you possibly can. But given that there's only 1 hook stage on the board for Obi, this is definitely not what you want in order to secure a good position. But this is roughly the result. I mean, it can go. I mean, 4K3, of course, that's an insane result to get, and you have to have some real survivor mess ups for that to happen. But this has been a very, very well played set by the survivors of Ariandel, and they're showing us just how well you can punish the dredge. I mean, playing for the win con, of course, is something that, like, when you're the first team to set the win con, and you set the precedent for how the game goes the next time round. So knowing that you have 3 gens to complete, that's all that Ariandel seems like they wanted to focus on, and Obi just wasn't able to exert enough pressure to really combat that. And whilst it was possible, it was just going to be very difficult. But yeah, super well played by Ariandel to bring that one home. So they're going to be
absolutely.
Yeah, they're going to be securing that first set win for the team.
And with that being said, I do think one thing that helped out Bubbo quite a bit was the use of Ruin. I think that was a very excellent perk choice coming in there, but you know, it's just difficult to really, you know, it's really difficult to say that a single perk like a Hex perk can carry you into a win condition, because there's always an RNG factor involved with Hex totems, because they can spawn anywhere around the map. And while Midwich is one of those maps that typically has a better Hex totem spawn, it's not guaranteed. Oh, wow. Very nice play from Swatter there. It's not easy to say that a single totem perk can carry you into the win condition, because it could spawn anywhere, and I think that it just got a lot of value in the last match because the survivors did not opt to cleanse it. But that being said, it not being used in this match, I think is going to be a problem that Obi can confidently say did not help him out very much. But that being said, I do think that the combination of Pop Goes the Weasel and Eruption is very good, but just Hex Ruin really helped out Bubbo a lot there, and he also played very well to allow it to regress Drain Raiders. So I think going forward, I would put Ruin on my build and pretty much just never take it off, honestly. It helped out Bubbo a lot, but there's always the RNG factor. You never know where your totem's going to spawn, so it's not something that can just be said, yeah, just put it on, it'll be fine. You know what I mean? It's not like...
Well, it's a risk. It's a risk.
Exactly. Thank you.
Hexbugs are always a risk. Of course, Ruin is gained a lot of popularity in the past few months, given the changes that were made to it, and it's something that is very popular in comp. And it also inspires a certain kind of playstyle. And Dredge is one of those that kind of supports that. That's going to be a 4th gen completed. We have one being worked on right now, of course, the Eruption Aura going to be showing. And nice fake out from LaMagic there. Going to be dodging out on the swing. Ipix left sleeping on the floor. But we do have the safety of this pallet, and this is a long remnant. We'll see. Yeah, he's going to have to break that instead, but yeah, not opting to commit that chase right now. Reset comes through onto Ipic, and yeah, Obi's not really finding an in here. The survivors are playing super well to coordinate effectively, and not really giving Obi any room to breathe. So just a difference in survivor, just a huge difference in survivor performances, to be honest, in this set, and it can't be understated. Like, they're just winning every 50-50. It's insane. Every fake, every 50-50 being thrown at Obi right now. It's just resulting in a loss for him, and it just accumulates. And this is going to be really rough for the mental of Elysium. So I'm wondering if they get some momentum going in the third set, being the artist. We're just playing this out.
Absolutely. Very well said, Zach. And also, you know, it's quite interesting that Ariandel was able to pop another generator, given the amount of pressure that Obi has around the map. But it's just a difficult thing to really come back from in the moment. I'm sure there's a lot of pressure on Obi. The nice nods. He respected that play. It's always nice to see that. There's a lot of pressure on Obi right now to still post a good, respectful win condition. The survivors of Ariandel are really putting him on the ropes here. This is definitely not an easy thing to really... And another generator is almost done, Zach. That's insane. And the stun! He doesn't even get the hit! What? Oh, man, Obi! I feel so bad for him right now.
Yeah, they're not really giving him anything, are they? It's definitely something that... when you get good momentum going in a game like this, it's very hard to combat. You need a slip up from them, but they seem to just be making all the right decisions. It's something that Obi's finding difficult to combat. But now we have 3 injuries on the board. We are in Nightfall, and we do have Sloppy Butcher on player. But yeah, we just they can't quite get that gen done. This is Obi holding on really well to this. No pain resist. He ideally needs someone to be on the hook for the pop value, especially with Gen that far, but he just does not have the time to do it. He does not have the time to get that. And again, he just takes another smack to the face. His face must be really hurting from all these pallet drops. He feels for him, and that's IPIC going to be going down. They actually greeted a little bit of an overextension by the survivors. Going to be bolting over there, leaving 2 people stuck on the ground. Magic going to get picked up. Hardwell now facing the Dredge. That's going to be 2 survivors dead, but the last gen gets done. They were splitting the map so well. 2 survivors on one side, 2 survivors on the other. Whilst one side faltered, the other side got going on those gens. So that's all gens completed now. And the aggressive slugging that Obi was doing, unfortunately, does not pay off. So we're gonna be seeing how much or how many hook stages he can secure in the end game, at least to give himself the feeling of a better result. Already the unhook coming through. We have Hardwell still sleeping on the floor, taking a nap, and everyone else is up and healthy. Hardwell gonna get picked up, and yeah, we're just cleaning up at this point.
Cleaning up indeed. You can see the Dredge with the broomstick in hand, kind of sweeping the floor with the survivors here.
Almost there.
But it looks like Team Ariandel is going to be taking outs on this set on the Dredge, which is definitely not something we want to see given the last set result from Bubbo on the Dredge versus Team Elysium's survivors. So yeah, Obi probably not too happy with this win condition, unfortunately for him. It looks like all 4 survivors are going to be getting out here potentially. Unless, yeah, IPIC was able to get out as well. That is quite unfortunate. Honestly, Zach, I think Bubbo just played that very well. He had the 4v1 handled really, really well, able to get a tunnel out. The use of Pain Resonance and Ruin together is a deadly combination, and unfortunately, I just don't...
Obi on the Artist, spawning down on the bot side by Shaq. We do have our corrupt zone at the top of the map. And use of agitation. And actually, is that monstrous shrine in play?
Oh,
that is
wow.
a very unique perk choice. I don't know if I've seen that so far in DBDL. I'm gonna have to prompt a statistics man in the background to see if that's a perk that's been used already. But monstrous shrine, that I believe is a perk that speeds up the elimination process the further away the killer is. So if the killer is a certain distance away, the survivor essentially is going to be going to 3rd stage quicker. But I wonder what he's cooking with that.
Yeah, I'm also very curious too. I believe that the distance requirement is around 24 meters, if I remember correctly. You'll have to forgive this. This is a very, very uncommon perk pick. And actually, Toby comes in with us, our stats analyst here, and tells us this is the very first time in DBDLeague history that Scorch Hook Monstrous Shrine is being used. And a nice hit from Obi. Now, I've got to say, it's not a very common thing to see Obi play Artist. I haven't seen him play Artist before, but we've seen him play other ranged killers, and the guy is a monster. That being said, the first down finally comes in onto LeMagic here. And yeah, I'd say Obi's looking pretty healthy right now in terms of this match. So yeah, not a bad result at all so far in terms of the match for Obi, especially after that last set with the Dredge not going too well in his favor. But I think Obi can bounce back. That down, by the way, came in at 1 minute and 29 seconds. Thank you so much, Toby, for that.
Yeah, Obi on the Artist, but definitely a unique perk choice. So I wonder, ladies and gentlemen, if we're going to see any value come of that. Of course, he's walking away immediately from the hook to get some value. Also got agitation to reach those Scorch Hooks, and almost vaults with the pallet drop, getting a bit of a mind game going. But a nice dodge out from the birds there from LeMagic, and 2 gens pop in the distance. We have hook stage on the board, and we are going to be continuing chase on to LeMagic over at this TNL wall. Of course, Artist, one of those anti-loop killers. not able to secure the injury. So just getting very close to that distance requirement for the injury, which would have been the down. And he actually swings for the window. That's a really good fake by La Magic. This is so much time wasted right now. You need to get this down fast, Obi. Going into the top corner. And wow, that was a really well-played chase by La Magic. Basically had nothing to work with, but made a lot work. Now taking a second stage of the game and working our way over. We already have 2 gens being worked on now. Those first 2 gens popped, and these next gens are going to be on the top side. So very, very far away. We saw Bobo there lurking for the rotation and the save, and Obi just makes his way over there to pressure those gens. And yeah, so far a cleanly played game from the Survivor side. Of course, as I mentioned, with their momentum coming in from last game, it is something that they are not, you know, they're not letting this game out of their grasp. They're using the momentum, missing out on the bird, but it's going to take the M1. That is something that is very commonly done in Artist games. Quite often you'll see survivors force that M1 because the bird cooldown, once it hits, is so much lower. Nice pathing from Swatter there, and Obi just can't seem to make any of these birds connect. The survivors are playing it masterfully, and he has these 2 loops to chain here, so it's going to be so difficult to shut it down. He needs to mind game properly. And I think he makes the pie. He does just make that, yeah. So Swatter's going to be going down. Hardwell about to finish the 3rd gen of the game. La Magic about 30% of the way through the 4th one. And yeah, Obi's going to need something real hard to bring this game back, to be honest.
Yeah, no kidding, Zach. I mean, Pain Resonance comes in. A second stack of Pain Resonance being used on Swatter there. So with 2 generators left, not a fantastic thing you want to see as Obi right now or Team Elysium. But, I mean, we haven't seen Team Ariandel play Artist yet, so it could still go either way. I have faith, I have hope, and I'm really hoping to see a good match no matter who the set point goes to. But that being said, Obi's in a position right now where he can make something happen. The Monster Shrine putting in a little bit of value there, making the survivors have to pick just a little bit quicker because the hook duration is shorter with Monster Shrine. Unfortunately, not taking the hit onto La Magic. He makes the window, and no one's at the generator, or they called it out perfectly. One of the two. But I think Obi expects someone to be there. Oh, and wow, they both hopped locker to get rid of the crows. Bubbo taking the outside of Shack. You might see a follow-up hit there. We do. Very nicely done by Obi there. Artist, not a very easy killer to learn, so credit is given where it is due, and that was a very nice shot from Obi there. If we can maybe put something into play here, I think he should have taken that shot there, but yeah, with 3 crows up, your cooldown is slower, so it's better to just take the 1 guaranteed crow, which I think could have been managed, and Bubbo gets balanced landing there. Very well done. The down comes in. Great job, Obi. I mean, we're at
that was weird.
All generators completed. Unfortunately, that was quite weird. Absolutely.
Yeah, I swear the crows went the other way, but yeah, I don't know. Bit of a weird. Yeah, at least on my screen, I know we see sort of slightly different to you guys on the stream because quality-wise, but yeah, that's gonna be all gens completed. Gates already opened, and Bubbo's taking actually it's a good case, like better case scenario given that Bubbo is a fresh hook. And we have the birds actually staring each other at the face, having a romantic stare down at this hill, serving as a bit of a cutoff point. And we do want to be coming in for the safe here. La Magic going to be trading because already taking a second stage of the game. And Bubbo, does he have balance lying back? He does, but Obi is blocking him masterfully.
Well. Wow.
He's almost there.
And he slots crows. He slots crows. What can he do? He might be able to do something with this. No, he doesn't, unfortunately.
That's probably
body block. Oh,
where's... Magic. Oh, Magic gets out too through the hatch. Oh, I had to feel for
Oh.
Obi there. We talked about the momentum, and unfortunately, it just couldn't carry it performance into the next game. It's so rough to watch, unfortunately. And our average for Artist at the minute is about 7 stages, and that was it's still doable. We don't want to make any assumptions so far. We know how these teams can play. They're very well coordinated and highly skilled. And we've already found someone with a crow off on the bot side. Going to be using the scattered crows there, 3 in a row, but doesn't seem to make a connection. We have information on 2 survivors, so a decent early game. And again, if you're just playing to win condition, you just want to hope for short chases. Tina going to be taking a vault, playing this jungle gym. And Crow not going to land, actually very nicely dodged out. It is at the pallet. This Artist is an anti-loop killer, so you would want to be trying to make it away from this. Is going to land the crows, but yeah, iPick is doing very well to zone him here on this tile. We don't have an injury come through. Those crows are going to miss, unfortunately, and Xeno is wasting a lot of time here at this pallet. Is going to force iPick to break it, but double back, and yeah, I think Xeno's been on this side of the loop for a while, and actually nice little pathing there to make it to the vault. I believe that was Lyth used as well. No, Lyth is banned. Sorry, it can't be Lyth, but Xeno taking crows. Another pallet there to be used. And we're taking chase over. Injury secured now. And we do have main building to be used. This is a long chase. This is exactly what Elysium need to counter that 4-stage result on their killer side.
Yeah, this is a pretty good start to iPick's Artist performance with an injury on the board, but no down coming in just yet. And nice body block from Marco here in order to allow Xeno to stay up a little bit longer. I think it was some good play just to make sure that Xeno doesn't go down super quickly. That being said, we do have Scourge Hook Pain Resonance and Gift of Pain being used. 2 very good Scourge Hook perks, some of my favorite in my opinion. And Agitation just to allow that pain resonance and Scourge Hook Gift of Pain to be used more frequently. So yeah, definitely a good Artist build here. A pretty classic one minus Gift of Pain, but it's a good perk and it fits in the build quite well. So it's very good to see. That being said, 2 generators have popped so far. We have 1 hook on the board. We need to delay this if we're wanting to make sure that this doesn't reach a loss for Team Elysium. They need to delay this quite a bit. This might be the... Oh no! You just don't see where the crows are placed, so it's really hard to dodge what you can't see coming. So, unfortunately for Xeno, that's going to be the 2nd hook. Only 3 more need to happen, and the win is met for Team Ariandel.
Yeah, super well played, getting that 2nd hook stage onto Xeno. That's going to be on the bot side, on opposite sides of the map. And yeah, it looks like iPick is just playing for hook stages right now. It's completely fair enough. And we only have 2 gens completed. We had 1 being worked on the top side. And we do have 1 being tackled here on the bottom side. But doing very nicely to play positionally down on this bot side. But trying to find the next survivor and just holding this sort of chokehold point in the map so no one can cross over safely. But iPick smells someone over here by this shack gen, and it's just securing this. Knows he has the time. Marco is about 75% on a gen. Pedro also working on 1. And we have Oscar coming in for the rescue. Does he get spotted, though? He is going to get spotted by iPick. So they potentially might need a 2nd savior to come in to get this rescue onto Xeno. Again, the more stages that they give up, the closer we're getting to that win condition. It is a low stage result. And does take the thing. It might actually be a trade. Is going to be body blocking very, very nicely. And sprint burst being used by Xeno to explain the speed we saw earlier that I mentioned. We have 4 injuries on the board now. Pedro hurt, going to be taking chase.
And Zach, that was a very nice setup for an unhook right there. Very nice to see that kind of team coordination. It looks like iPick has already set down multiple crows, so not too much value to be gained from that already. Pedro doing a great job lasting in this chase. He needs to, otherwise, you know, the win condition is just that close, much closer. Oh!
That's a nice mind game.
What a great mind game coming in from iPick. That was not what I was expecting. That was almost a jump scare for me. Can't lie, Zach. But that being said, it looks like Marco and Oscar are both working on generators right now in the background. And I think that might have been a pain residence. I can't tell for sure. No. Well, no pain residence. No patient residence has been used this match at all, Zach. All 4 stacks are still in iPick's pocket. That's quite interesting to see. I mean,
in normal circumstances, yeah, I'd agree. But I guess since he just needs to secure hook stages, I'm sure he probably just doesn't care. But yeah, playing to win condition, that's something that Ariandel has been doing so far today. It's been pretty good to see, and iPick is getting much closer to that. That's Oscar to be taking first.
Manifest is a perk that is being used in this set. Unfortunately, does not get the hit at the window. I do like that pick on the perk there, especially with the flashlight player. Residual Manifest makes it so that the killer is blind whenever they are blinded. So that's a fun one to see. What? That, really threaded the needle there with Pedro. Just barely missed him. But, and yeah, again,
he hooked the wall there to dodge the crow. That was nice.
Yeah.
I just want to point that out.
Pedro just doing a great job, taking the down at the pallet, and now making iPick think that there's someone nearby. This is great play. Buy some more time for your teammates to progress generators. Someone is nearby. Gets the pallet safe. Nicely done by Zeno there. Incredible to see. Preventing another hook from coming in. Very well done by Zeno and Team Elysium. Their team coordination is always extremely good, so it was nice to see that. Pedro, wow. I think he took the slow ball there just to prevent iPick from catching that. Got some really good pathing here. All generators completed. Very well done. There's the down again onto Pedro.
Sadly, we have already met that win condition. And actually almost coming in for the pallet save. This is Ariandel obviously coming in with 4 hook stages, 4 for us to be the 5th one. Win secured for them. That's 2-0 coming up, but of course there's no hope to... He actually gets the wiggle out, trying to go for base jump there. And yeah, really just executed well by Ariandel. I think that they've outclassed Elysium today, and it's been such an interesting set to watch. And the sprint burst bait swing just to put the cherry on top, unfortunately.
Oh my goodness. You know, and this is what I wanted to highlight here, Zach. Is that just because you lost does not mean you can't put up a good performance. That was really nice to see. Wow, what an incredible result from Team Ariandel. And Team Elysium was no slouch this set. Just because they did not take the win in this matchup does not mean that they did not play well. They did incredible. They always do. So props to both teams. Thank you so much for playing and giving us such an entertaining matchup between these two absolute monstrosities of teams.